Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Raid Shadow Legends video. So today's video is about the next series, the next top 10 that I wanted to make, and that's about how to deal with the head of Torment. Like, he's one of the annoying ones as well when it comes to Hydra, because you know, each and every head has a little bit of something that you need or you want to bring in the fight to make sure that you deal with him. You know, when it comes to the head of DK, you want to bring a provoker to make sure he doesn't cleanse. When it comes to the head of what's his face, the head of mischief, you want to bring either a mischief target, somebody with lots of buffs and high resistance, or you want to bring block buffs to deal with that. What else? When you're talking about the head of wrath, you want to bring decreased attack, block buff, so he doesn't bring increased attack on himself. But when it comes to the head of torment, he's the one that actually there's not too many ways to actually deal with him. Like, if I don't know, maybe I'm forgetting somebody. I'm gonna go through the list. I'm gonna tell you what I have found out, and like the people that you should use as a, you know, as counters for the sake of the head of torment, if you're not just straight up ignoring it or whatever. So let's get to the list, and like I said, if I miss somebody, please just leave it in the comments below so other people can see it and, you know, maybe use that as a solution for their torment targets or torment counters, I'd say. So let's start with, I guess, the best, in my opinion. At least if you don't agree, like, you know, this list is not going to be in a particular order, but it's like, you know, it's going to be, I guess, like maybe this one's the best, and then after that, whoever. So let's start with the ways that you can deal with him, and there's like, you know, there's, I guess, two ways. One, bring a perfect veil, or two, bring a cleanse. So who's the best at perfect veiling plus bringing other stuff? Well, good old Duchess Lilith. Basically, why she's so amazing is because of her, you know, even though it might look simple, it's like full kit. A2, AoE block buffs, increased attack, and perfect veil on all allies except herself on a 4-turn cooldown. You know, it's not the lowest cooldown, but it's still amazing. The A3 is an AoE revive. You know, if somebody dies, she places AoE revive and a veil if somebody's revived, but this one can only be cast if somebody's dead. If nobody's dead, then she's not gonna place the veil and continue heal on all allies. Please bear in mind that veil does not work as perfect veil. Only perfect veil can stop you from getting true feared by the head of torment. Keep that in mind. Then she also has this amazing passive which basically straight up mitigates 15% of the damage that you take from AoE hits from bosses. Is this 15%, and at the same time, perfect veil as a buff does brings you an extra 15% damage mitigation. So that's why she's the best. She brings you revive AoE, she brings you lots of good buffs, she brings more damage mitigation from the passive, and at the same time, guess what? She throws in a 19% speed in all battles. Also, she brings an A1 that puts a shield. Honestly, this one I wish she didn't have it for the sake of Hydra, because she has this one. And when it comes to the other heads, when it comes to the head of mischief, by placing this shield on random champion who has the lowest HP, it can throw off the mischief targeting. But anyway, we're not going to complain about that. Just, you know, wanted to mention this to keep in mind in case you're using Duchess in Hydra and maybe you didn't notice that this can screw you. Now let's go to the next one, which again, I think I'm just gonna start with all the perfect veil champions, and then we're gonna continue with the other ones. The next one that's actually pretty good is Tatura Rhymehide. Tatura Rhymehide is really good. He has it on a 4-turn cooldown, and this one can actually smack. So it's an AoE hit, then places a perfect veil again on all allies except himself, and then also places a shield on this champion that's equal to like 20% of the damage that he does. This one can smack pretty hard. Honestly, this one's, unless something changed, somebody was released, and I'm not sure about the multipliers, maybe Steltas, but this one's the second highest hitting AoE from a defensive nuker in the game. The first one, Soulless, that has the hardest hitting one, that's defense based. Second one's Tatura. At the same time, Tatura brings an increased defense and block debuffs buff for 2 turn on the 3-turn cooldown, for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown AoE, which is again amazing. And he also brings an decreased accuracy on the A1, which can be huge. Like, if you want to try and get, I don't know, maybe the head of blight to not put all the poisons on you, you just A1 with him and he's the decreased accuracy over there, and that's it. Or if you do not care about this, you can straight up not build any accuracy in Tatura's kit, just worry about damage. He can be a nuker perfect veiler. He also has an interesting passive, but this does not really work. Oh wait, when attack reflects 30%, this one works, but the freeze part at least does not work against the Hydra heads. And defensive Doom Tower unfortunately doesn't work. But still, I feel like Tatura is definitely a really good champion for that. Another one that's really good for the sake of the Perfect Veil is Rector Drath. Like, Rector Drath is kind of an MVP in certain teams such as like Bommel, Doom Tower stuff, good in some arena teams it used to be, also good in the Iron Twins because of the kit, brings a decreased attack on the A1, brings a single target revive, it's only single target, that one gets a Perfect Veil when he's revived, but it's all about her A2 for the sake of Hydra. Heals all allies by 20% of this champion's max HP. After healing, places a Perfect Veil buff for 2 turns on all allies with full HP. It's a little bit tricky that you need to keep them all topped up, but if you do this, you have a Perfect Veil on 2 turns for 2 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. Also, if they're not full HP, she places a Perfect Veil on them. So, you know, if you time her right, or if you build her like in a Reflex or Relentless, just to try and come back to this one as soon as possible, she could be the one that helps you deal with the Head of Torment all the time. At the same time, the passive is pretty amazing. It's like whenever an ally that has Veil or Perfect Veil, it doesn't have to be necessarily placed by her, gets a turn, they heal themselves by 10% of their max HP, which is huge, because it's like, you know, she brings some insane healings in there, plus protection. They also get the resistance increase by 50. Then the aura doesn't really help because it's resistant, you know, it's in Doom Tower, nothing too special. Let's jump over to the next one. So the next one that has a Perfect Veil is one of the new ones. I haven't tested or played with this champion. That's Truoth, the Dark Elf. So basically, Truoth has it on the A2. Attacks all enemies, places a Perfect Veil buff on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. Again, it's on a 4-turn cooldown. Also places a counterattack buff and strengthen, and a 25% strengthen buff on this champion. So maybe he could be something interesting, like he could be your Perfect Veil champion to deal with the Head of Torment, and maybe because of these buffs, if you put on him Lasting Gifts, he could be your mischief target, because he has 2 buffs here, and I think he had something else. No, yeah, so because of these ones, 2 buffs, it's like, you know, that's more than enough. If you give him a, what's it called, Blood Shield accessory as well, that's more than enough to make him a mischief target. I haven't had one yet. I haven't been able to play with him, but you know, I wish I had one so I could make a video on this one. On the A1, he does a little bit of healing. You know, attacks one enemy, heals this champion by 5% of their max HP. Heals by 10% if he has 10%, 50% HP or less. So basically, if he gets the hits from mischief and he keeps going down, he can sustain himself pretty well. He also brings the ally protection for the team, which can be really good. Also, he has like heal a target ally by 20% of their max HP, then balances HP of all allies. Which basically, balancing does not affect the passive of the DK, which reduces your max HP. So this again could be pretty awesome. It's like just this healing part can decrease the max HP, but the balancing does not affect it. So, you know, it's a pretty good one. Let's see his passive. Like I said, I'm reading everything. I haven't played with this champion. I haven't checked this kit too much, so I kind of need to do this. But this one says decrease the cooldown of Animus Infusion, which I guess is the A3, which is on a 4-turn cooldown, a little bit high, but I guess it is what it is. By 1 turn for every 10% HP this champion loses. So that's pretty easy, because every time anybody gets hit, his HP goes down. So he comes back actually to that heal, balancing and added protection pretty fast. So that's actually not a bad champion. So the next way that you can deal with this, with the Head of Torment, because I kind of finished with the AoE Perfect Veil champions. If there's anybody that I missed, like I said, guys, just let me know. I'm talking about AoE ones, not single target. I know we have some single target, but AoE ones are these ones. Then another way that's like the only one that can actually do this, that is Shamel, Inquisitor Shamel. Basically with Inquisitor, it's all about this passive. Each critical, it's not about this one, about the crit, but whenever an ally receives a fear or a true fear, which is Head of Mischief, debuff from an enemy, this skill will instantly remove the debuff and fill the ally's turn meter by 15%. Honestly, I'm not sure if this one works as intended, but the way this actually works is if you're facing straight up the Head of Torment, the champion that is in the lead will always get their turn meter boost, boosted. Doesn't matter where the true fear is removed from. Like if it's a support that hits the Head of Torment, the person that's in the lead spot would always get their turn meter increased. So basically, he's really good to also place alongside a Lydia. Like, that's the best combo, because Lydia basically counterattacks every single time one of your champion gets feared, true feared, stunned, and I think it's petrified. Like, there's a few of those debuffs. So pairing Inquisitor Shamel with the Lydia against the Head of Torment is the best thing you can do. When we're talking about the hard difficulties though, so when we're talking about normal hard, he's kind of the best, maybe even for brutal and nightmare if you keep the Head of Torment around as much as possible. However, if you're talking about the hard difficulties, like, you know, bringing him is maybe a waste unless you make him smack too at the same time, because like the Head of Torment, if you have in starting rotation, as soon as he dies he's not coming back, and Inquisitor doesn't bring much else. Maybe some damage from this one, because this one's in Doom Tower. He can remove one like level of buffs, but that's not what you care about. This is like a little bit of a personal opinion. I'm not saying he's bad, it's just the more that we learned, the more we saw that he's good for the lower difficulties. Like, I've built 2 of them and I'm not using any anymore, so yeah. Now let's jump over to the other way that we can deal with that one, and that with the true fears, and specifically the Head of Torment, and that's the cleansing. And the best ones that are used for the sake of that are, let's start with the legendary one, Tuhanorak. So basically Tuhanorak is so good because whenever she gets a turn, she removes one random debuff from all allies at the start of each turn. So every time she gets a turn, she removes it. So if you build her in a Relentless or build her fast, maybe even a Frenzy, she can be really good and keep rotating and keep removing those debuffs. You'd prefer to have, like, you know, if the Blight's up, you'd prefer to have that resisted, because if you have a block debuffs buff on you, then you cannot get anything else landed on you, only the true fear. The true fear goes through anything, doesn't matter. Block debuffs, resist, you cannot resist that, you cannot block it, but you can cleanse it. So Tuhanorak can do that for you. She removes 2 debuffs if the allies are under continuous heal. You're gonna have most of the time just, like, you know, just 1 possibly on herself, because she does that with the A1. At the same time, apart from dealing with the Head of Torment, she's amazing because she brings decreased speed, continuous heal on herself. She could make herself a mischief target, but at the same time she could make somebody else, because she puts the continuous heal on the ally with the lowest HP as well. She also brings block buffs and decreased attack that can be AoE if you hit somebody that doesn't have any debuff, because she places on single target these ones and then she spreads them. And she also brings you increased speed and increased defense on a 3-turn cooldown. Like, she's one of the top tier champions for the sake of Hydra, but you have to pair them with the right ones, or otherwise, you know, if you bring somebody that like a Cantra alongside her, they might overlap and you might not have the right debuff spread as you want, or like somebody else. Maybe Cantra's not the right one, but if you bring a poisoner, you try to use her A2 on the one that has lots of poison, you're spreading poisons, and that's kind of useless. But yeah, she's the beast of cleansing when it comes to the Head of Torment. Another one that does the same thing as her is, let's go back to Night Revenants, that's Doom Priest. Doom Priest is all about her passive. Same thing, this one, A1's nothing too special, A2 you don't really care because you waste a turn. The aura, it's like just for force champions, so you don't really care. It's all about her passive. Again, heals all allies by 7.5% of their HP, and then removes 1 random debuff from the start at the start of this champion's turn. So again, every time Doom Priest gets a turn, she removes 1 random debuffs, 1 random debuff, and she heals all allies by 7.5% of their max HP. That's what else you want from her. Put her again in a Relentless, and she can keep going. She could even be, for example, built in a Guardian set, so that she soaks up some of the damage, because she doesn't need accuracy for anything else. She cannot bring anything else. Either Guardian, or you can try something funky for her. You can try and build her in a Taunting set, and then, you know, be a backup provoker for your DK champion. And when it comes to people that directly deal with the Head of Torment, that's about it. Like, that's all I could find in the AoE Perfect Field department and cleansers. I wrote 3 more things in here that, like, you know, are good shoutouts for the sake of dealing with it, and that's one of them that it's kinda can deal with him, and that's Sifi, the Lost Bride. Basically, Sifi has this passive here that says, has an after book 50% chance of removing freeze or fear debuffs from each ally at the start of their turn. This one's maybe not written as it's supposed to be, because she actually removes true fear as well. So maybe this one should be freeze, true fear, and fear debuffs from each ally at the start of their turn. So basically, if you play with her and you notice when one of your champions gets a turn they have the true fear, there's a 50-50 chance she removes it, which can be really good. If you don't want to tackle that champion straight up, as I'm doing, you can just, you know, use Sifi for that to just bring, for example, some cleansers that have the cleanse on an active skill. The cleansers that I showed so far once they have it on the passive skill, and they do not have to cast the cleanse itself, because if they cast the cleanse themselves, guess what can happen? They can be true feared, and then basically you have to wait till you come back to it. So that's what I meant about the cleanses part. So after Sifi, like another two ones that I mentioned is, I guess, like just honorable mentions, because it's, like I said, it's nothing straight up, but like Cardiel can be really good. Like he has an AoE cleanse and also brings revive on death, and he also brings block debuffs. Honestly, they're cooldown pretty good. He brings some insane heals, like he brings some insane heals from his passive that he keeps counter-attacking or ally attacking with the A1 that keeps healing, and at the same time he can bring you an ally attack. And then another one that's extremely insane for that is Mithrala Lifebane. Again, she brings an AoE cleanse with shield and strengthen. She brings increased defense, increased attack, and hex, which makes you be able to target the Head of Mischief. Unless you have hex, you cannot target him with single target hits. This one, she is insane because she can up her resistance. Like, she's just a monster overall. Brings some poisons, and she brings an accuracy lead. So these are two of the cleansers that I want to talk about. And another one that's kind of like, you know, a good backup. I'm just saying about this champion because I really like her and she's really useful for the sake of Hydra. That's Ugo. So basically, Ugo, we know leech, we know decreased defense and block buffs, but she also brings with this one, removes all heal reductions. Head of DK does that from all allies, then removes one extra random debuff. So if there's no other debuffs on yourself, guess what? If she doesn't get true fear, obviously when she does it, if she doesn't have true fear on herself, she can cleanse that debuff, but you know, it's not as efficient, and usually just try to avoid it. Maybe if you don't have any of the champions that I mentioned here, just try to avoid it and do it the way that I do with my team. Just place the HP bar with Geomancer on that head and move on with your day. So for example, this is the team that I use it. I mean, I have Duchess here, so maybe this is not the right one to show. Let's go on the Brutal team. Give an example, this is my team. So I have no way of dealing with the Head of Torment. Guess what I do? I just put HP mode Geomancer. When the Torment comes out, I place it on him. As soon as he's dead, I move on with my day. But yeah, I think that this is all that I have, guys. Like I said, if you think there's anybody else that you know, like maybe I missed something that can be good to counter Head of Torment, please do leave it in the comments below so more people can see, so I can share it maybe in my next videos, like as a, you know, as a correction to my video, so that more people find more ways of dealing with the Hydra. Like I mentioned in the previous videos, I'm doing this because there's more and more people that are trying to start tackling Hydra, are trying to progress and do more Hydra because of the rewards that they started introducing. They're getting better and better, you know. They gave us more clan coins, they gave us, you know, good fragments for Mithril. It's a good champion. If you already have her, then you only care about the clan coins. The gear is pretty good, not just for the sake of arena. And also they started giving us mortal soul stones now for the sake of awakening. So yeah, I guess everybody's gonna care more and more about the Hydra. But yeah, this is gonna be it for the video today, guys. Thank you for watching. I do hope you enjoy it. Like I'm not sure when this one comes out. I'm preparing, like I did this week as well, because my wedding's gonna happen on the Saturday 1st of October. So yeah, I prepared all these ones and have them scheduled. I have no idea when this one comes out, but yeah, anyway, I'm blabbering right now. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Consider liking the video if you liked it, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Peace, love, take care everyone. Bye guys.